Let's get down then to the final. Your commentator once again, Jim White.
First frame, Rob McKenna to break.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's just the most coveted title in the world of pool, the 1997 Embassy World Singles Championship. And that's Rob McKenna breaking off. He knows what it's like to carry this crown around for a season. You can't put a price tag on it. McKenna won the event in 1994 in only its second year of existence. And already the wizardry of the Welshman McKenna playing a role. And throughout this championship, I've had the good fortune to welcome many friends into the commentary booth with me, and this is no different. I've got a couple gentlemen sat here beside me that know only too well what it's like to be on center stage. As it happens, they're the two finalists in this event last year. The captain, and arguably one of the toughest men in the game to beat. I'm talking about Greg Farron and Tony Holgate. And guys, this is a great early start from Rob McKenna.
Yes, it is, Jim, but I think he's left himself a little bit farther away from this black ball than he would have liked. This will be a test of his nerves early on.
And he passed it with flying colors. McKenna, just look at the support in the crowd. He's taken the opening frame here in this best of 21 men's final. It's 1-0 to the Welshman Rob McKenna. Well, Lee Kendall breaking off here in frame 4, and already it's dire straits for him. He's got to start doing something that he can bring some positive feelings into this match from.
Yeah, that's right, and you can see there the way Lee has broken. I noticed there, Jim, that Lee didn't hit the pack with as much force as he normally does, and I think that's a sign that he's feeling, you know, he's 3-0 down. Shall I go all out and really crack the pack, or shall I just like hang back and hope that it doesn't go all wrong?
Well, you know here that he's going to want to take the reds on, even though they're not the easiest. They're ideally placed.
Very similar looking game to the last frame, Jim, with the black ball there next to the yellow. Almost the same place as it was in the last frame.
Yes, absolutely. That black over on the left cushion. Very similar to the last frame. And we know how that one went.
Yeah, well, two yellows just at the bottom of the table as well. And again we see Rob, long yellow, slowly dribbling it down the table. That's another sure sign of the confidence that he's now playing under.
Well, he's a bit of a showman, Greg, as well when he gets going. I mean, he does like to attempt the impossible as well, you know, get the crowd on their feet, cheering and shouting. He'll love every minute of this.
That's right. The more balls Rob pots and the better he starts playing, the more the crowd cheer, and that in itself then makes Rob go for even more difficult shots, and he just builds and builds on his confidence. He feeds off the crowd's reactions and the crowd's confidence. He feeds off that. Don't want to leave Lee Kendall out of it altogether, though, do we? I mean, he's 3-0 down. He's not been in the match really much up till yet. But he has got an opportunity here. the red ball nearest the bottom right corner pocket, as you can see. I think we'll just squeeze past that yellow ball, and if that's so, yes, I can see there, I think it will go past. Then the only problem, I say the only problem, it's a big problem, but the only problem I can see with this finish is the black ball again tied up with the yellow. But he has got two reds close to this bottom left corner pocket, and it looks as though he's got a lovely angle on the one to stun up the cushion with a bit of side and develop that black ball. And he's done it absolutely superb. That's a great shot, Tony.
That's right, Greg. Right in the frame now. Except he's could have left himself a little awkward here. I mean, he's kicked the black out. Good shot to move it. I just wonder if he has a gap to get up to the top of the table and pot the red. If not, could be in a bit of trouble.
Well, every now and then, Lady Luck decides to play a role, and there you can see right down the line. It is desperately close.
That is so unlucky, Jim. That really is so unlucky. He's played a great shot to knock the black out. Three reds, all possible, and he can't manage to pot one. Is he just going to try and cut this one in? He is, yeah, and it was just too much to cut it back, I think. He didn't really have much choice.
Well, when things are going against you, the balls can be very unforgiving.
Yeah, that's right, Tony, and as you can see there, not come out too good. Is the writing on the wall? I know it's very early in this match, but sometimes in a match what happens is all the run-in and all the potting goes one way, and then there's something that just happens and tends to change things, and I can say from experience that Lee will be hoping for that little something just to happen in a match. One little spark of light at the end of the tunnel, and you claw your way back into a match, and that's what Lee will be hoping to achieve.
Left him one big shot here if he gets this red into the top left hand corner. Could snatch the frame. Well, that's so unlucky. I mean, that was a great attempt. Right over the pocket. Just another fraction harder, and that ball was in.
Yes, it's just not happening right now, not for Lee Kendall.
Yeah, but if you notice there, Jim, I don't think he had to hit it dead pace to reach the pocket. I mean, he had acres to leave the cue ball in. Can't understand why he didn't play the ball into the pocket rather than trickling towards the pocket.
Well, all Lee's cueing is about, you know, he strokes the cue ball. You never really see Lee smash into the balls, you know. And I think that's just the way he actually cues the ball. He thought, I'll give it enough pace to get to the pocket. It's just caught the outside of the jaw, and then that's forced it to hang over the pocket.
Well, that's right, Tony. And right now, the only saving grace for Lee Kendall, possibly, could be that yellow ball on the left-hand side. That ball right there. That's the real difficult one that Rob McKenna's got to try and get at.
Yeah, and it looks as though he's lining up a double, Jim. It looks absolutely perfect. Middle ball on the yellow. The white should stay roughly in the same place where the yellow is now on the left side cushion. Perfect position for the last remaining yellow into the bottom right pocket. That's what he's looking at.
If this goes in, almost assured of a 4-0 lead. But if it doesn't, Lee Kendall should take the frame.
If you remember, Jim, a few moments ago, exactly what I said was one little thing can happen to spark a turn in fortune during a match. And could that be the miss on the double there? Could that be that little spark that Lee has been looking for? He's got to take advantage of this situation now. Pot these last two reds and the black, and that could be a little turning point in this match.
Well, he's played on the red over the pocket. It's the one that he had to negotiate position onto. And really now, Lee Kendall should be able to put his first frame of this final on the board. this black into the left center. The left-hander from Stoke opens accounts here in the men's individual final. He still trails Rob McKenna by 3 frames to 1.
5 frames to 3.
Leading 5-3, McKenna kicks things off here in the 9th frame.
Open table.
And it seems to me like everything has turned around. We've got that black ball in its familiar position over on the left-hand side of the table as we look.
It's uncanny how that keeps happening, Jim, isn't it? Then maybe there's a magnet in the cushion there.
And that's a bad miss from Lee. Went all out for the pot, but just didn't quite manage to pot the yellow. And if Rob McKenna can pot the yellow that's sitting near the right-hand corner pocket, then this game is looking to be swaying back to his side of the fence.
seconds.
It was a difficult situation for Lee there. He had a difficult pot on, but decided to go all out for it. And there you can see Rob McKenna's played it well. He's played a plant onto the yellow nearest the pocket, and he's looking very good now.
Yeah, this is a great chance now for Rob. Restore his 3-frame lead.
Well, Greg, you looked at me there. I think he should have taken that yellow just above the black. He was on it. He could have played it into the center. He had a big pocket.
Yeah, and I think he's going to leave that one there for the black ball in the bottom pocket, Jim. That's why he decided not to take it.
Yeah, it's his last ball. Definitely.
So now he's just got a simple plant with the yellow over the hole. Leave the yellow over the hole, and oh dear, as we've seen a few times during this championship, it's just caught the inside jaw, which takes the yellow off the ball over the hole, and now this is a lot thinner than it needed to be. Can he just sneak it in and hold position for the yellow into the centre? Just tried to nick it in, but with the lack of pace, the yellow's just hung on the lip of the pocket. And Lee will be absolutely delighted to be coming back to the table, because I'm sure he would have thought 2 or 3 shots ago this frame was all over.
I feel if you can get one set of 2 shots here, I feel he will go for the win in the frame. You know, he won't mess about, he won't start tapping about and playing the deliberate fouls. I think he'll go straight for it, but he needs the 2 shots. I think he's left the plant.
Yeah, I think the yellow just goes down past the black onto the yellow over the hole. Very surprised at Lee missing that red, but that's what's been happening in this final. There's been 1 or 2 little errors creeping into his game, and that's the reason why he's struggling a couple of frames down on Rob McKenna.
Right now, what Rob's got to do is he's got to try and screw that white back. The top side of the black as we look to play the black to the same pocket. So this very difficult black and high pressure black for a 6-3 lead. It's in. Rob McKenna now leads Lee Kendall by 6 frames to 3 in this race to 11 in the Embassy Whirlpool final.
8 frames to 5.
So Lee Kendall, the left-hander, breaks off here. The 14th frame of a possible 21.
Open table.
And that's not a good sign for him. McKenna up at the table, leading 8 frames to 5. And like a predator, he's stalking the balls.
Well, that last frame, Jim, I think has lifted Rob McKenna's supporters as well. If you notice, they seem to have upped the volume again. Really getting behind their man. When you've got that sort of support, I mean, I found that in my quarter and my semi last year when I played Mark Goodwin and Terry Hunt. When you've got that sort of support, it could be worth, you know, 1 or 2 frames for you. Doesn't half live you. And Rob's got plenty of support tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. I mean, you can almost
Yellow ball's in play.
say it's similar to the fact of playing at home in a football match. You're more strong favourite when you're playing at home in a football match than when you're away 9 times out of 10.
Well, right away, Rob McKenna went after what I would believe the most difficult yellow on the table. And he has just cleared the path now for a very simple clearance.
This is super stuff from Rob.
And there's
I mean,
what it's all about. The 1997 Embassy World Championship trophy, Tony.
This has been super stuff though from Rob. A real clinical finish this. When he stopped from the start of frame, he took out the awkward yellows and he made it into a simple finish. And this is just what Lee Kendall doesn't want. Got to be feeling a bit devastated now.
Just got to take a bit of care on this shot. Has to use a bit of power, so it needs to be very accurate.
Well, that was a bad shot because at the end of the day, he had loads of room that he could land in to be on that black.
Yeah, he could have been another 12 to 14 inches above there, where he is now. Still has a cut on though, I think, Tony.
Yeah, but you never know where the cue ball's going.
Runaway cue ball. That's a great shot. Rob McKenna, 9 frames to 5 in front of Lee Kendall in the best of 21. He wants just 2 more frames to be the only man to be a 2-time winner of this event. And at 9-5 now, it's a long way back for Lee Kendall.
You can see the power Rob McKenna has put into that one.
Every ball that Rob pots now is greeted with a massive cheer from his supporters. They know he's very close to lifting a title, and he will be the first man, if he does so, to have won it twice.
Yellow ball's nominated.
That's the lonely chair there, Jim, that I know only too well.
Lee Kendall has to feel like this match is being played in Wales.
Open title.
Well, I'll tell you what then. Rob McKenna nominated the yellows. He did pot a red off the break, but nominated the yellows, and they were all on. He's failed to pot one. And that gives Lee the choice of colour. He won't be pleased with that. He knows he should have took more care on that shot.
That's a good shot
Yellow
from Lee
ball's in
Kendall.
play.
Well, he's going to need this finish now. They're all there for the taking. Doesn't have too much work to do with the cue ball, but must make sure of the pot. He's missed a few relatively easy pots so far in this match. Needs to concentrate, keep himself together, and make sure of every single pot here now.
Well, what Lee's going to want to do is remove all the yellow balls at the top end of the table. Take the one over the bottom left, second last, the one down the cushion last, and that'll leave the simple black. And he's got a perfect angle to take those 2 yellows at the top end, as I suggested.
Yes, and won't be doing anything fancy off these 2 yellows at the top end of the table. Just a little screw shot off the side cushion. Has landed a little bit straight, but I think what we'll see him doing is just screwing back off this straight yellow a few inches. And he's proved me wrong. He's absolutely screamed it into the pocket with loads of left-hand side. And it's absolutely perfect. A lot of players would have tended just to screw it back a couple of inches there, Tony, don't you think, and leave the long yellow over the hole.
No, I'd have got a bit closer to that yellow, I think, Greg.
Simple yellow down the cushion. It's going to leave an even simpler black. And Lee Kendall He's not ready to throw in the towel. He takes that frame, a little stutter step en route to the chair. It's 9 frames to 6 for Rob McKenna. Lee Kendall offering it the break. It's the 16th frame out of a possible 21.
Open title.
There you see Rob's intentions. He's going to take the yellows. Just looking at the yellow that's stuck to the red there on the bottom right hand side of the table. Just seeing if the yellow goes into the centre pocket.
I think a major factor in this match so far as well is that Rob McKenna hasn't really been put under any pressure. And that's what you've got to do with Rob McKenna. If you're going to beat him, you've got to put him under pressure and force him to make mistakes. Because after all, he is human. He can miss.
That's right, Greg. I mean, as we saw at the start of the match, Rob McKenna just burst into a 3-0 lead. And from then on, he's always just, you know, he's been 3 and 4 frames in front.
Yes, at one stage he was 5-1 in front. And 9-5 as well, just before Lee Kendall won that last frame. So Rob McKenna really has had it much his own way. But you just wonder if Kendall were to put a few frames together, get back at him.
That's the big shot.
That was the difficult yellow.
He's got a real chance now, Jim. Just got to be careful with his positioning. He has played a couple of loose ones during the match, but...
Yeah, he's played that well, Tony. I think we'll see him just trickling this yellow into the centre pocket and stunning the yellow into the left corner pocket, because I think he can just about manage to cut the yellow in below the black. Well, I think he's got the choice of either yellow here.
Well, I still think this is tricky.
I think if he just stops the cue ball roughly where it is, maybe screw back 2 inches, there you can see he can just cut the yellow back into the corner pocket.
Well, I'd have come back further and cut it in from the other angle and try to get onto the black, because I don't think this is that easy.
The black obviously goes through the middle of those 2 reds into the left corner pocket.
Well, that's deceived me.
Tremendous clearance from Rob McKenna. Tailor-made. He leads Lee Kendall 10 frames to 6 and is but 1 frame away. Very clear, the storyline now. At 10-6, Lee Kendall must win all remaining frames. Rob McKenna requires but 1.
Yeah, and Rob not getting one off the break, Jim, but giving Lee Kendall the opportunity to come to the table, and the yellow balls look very inviting.
Yeah, but Lee's got to remember now, Greg, no more mistakes. One more mistake and that's the end of it.
That'll be paramount in his mind.
Yellow ball in play.
Just depends how much the old cue arm's going to tighten up on every shot here now, knowing he can't afford one mistake.
You had a quick look at Lee Kendall's girlfriend there. Quick prayer wouldn't hurt.
And I think he wanted to come a little bit further down the table on that shot, Tony, don't you think? For the yellow into the right centre pocket. That's the one that could cause him a little bit of trouble.
I think he could still take it now, because he has got the red that's next to it to hold the cue ball. But like you say, it's trickier from there. He should have come another 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah. And with those 2 yellows at the top end of the table, one of which is taking now, and the other is hoping to take into the centre left pocket. He's clearing the top end of the table of all yellows, so he can concentrate on just manoeuvring the cue ball around the bottom half of the table, thereby lessening the chances of making a positional error.
This is the important one, Greg.
Yeah, he's going to be screwed. He's going to be, oh, I thought he was going to screw back, but he's bounced it just off the cushion, and he hasn't come far enough on the yellow into the centre pocket. And it looks to me as if he could possibly take the bottom of those yellows and leave the yellow into the centre. And he's played it well. Played it well. Could have been in a little bit of trouble there, but he's played it well and now superb.
He's passed the first test of character. She knows it. The black is in.
Lee Kendall.
One ball, one frame at a time. It's got to start here. Lee Kendall trails 10 frames to 7 and needs all remaining 4 to fulfill his dream. Time will tell if Lee Kendall can claw his way back into this one. Lee Kendall breaks off here in the 18th frame. He needed a ball to go down.
Open table.
But not this time. McKenna has got it clearly in his sights now. Can he zero in on the title?
Lee Kendall, not a happy chappy. I think, as I was going to say earlier, Jim, Lee Kendall's renowned for being dogged and never giving up. And you won't see Lee Kendall giving up in this situation either. But unfortunately, not potting one off the break, he has let Rob McKenna have an opportunity of a clearance.
Tell you what, this is the worst part for Lee Kendall, because this is exactly what I experienced last year when I was sat there and you know that your opponent has now got a chance to clear up and win the world title, and that is the loneliest place in the world to be sat, and I know exactly what that's like, and it's not funny.
Yeah, well, if you remember in '94 I felt the same situation playing Rob McKenna, and there wasn't a fat lot I could do about it either, Tony. So yeah, we're both in agreement. It's the worst feeling in the world when you feel helpless sitting there watching a guy clear up to win a tournament, especially the world title.
But that experience in the final put you in good stead for your second appearance, Greg. And I felt that was the one edge that Rob McKenna possessed here coming into this one. Having been there, he wasn't overawed.
That's right, that's right. And maybe the 2 or 3 mistakes that Lee Kendall has made could be down to the fact that he's never been in the final.
He's on the verge of glory, and he just tripped.
And he's saying to himself there, what have I done? I'm 10-7 up, 1 yellow, position on the black in the centre, and he's just slid the cue ball off the cushion, and it's just rested, virtually touching the red. I don't think he can get the black at all.
Yeah, but he's had loads of space to play with there as well.
Yeah, he could have stunned the cue ball up, couldn't he, Tony? I think the fact that the title was there looming in front of him, 1 shot away, he just got down and knocked the yellow in without thinking, you know, can I stun up, can I roll it in, use side. He didn't try out the options, he just worked out 1 shot and played it.
You can't overstate the importance of this title. And Rob McKenna had 1 hand on that trophy.
I just wonder if that might affect him now for the next frame, because Lee, I feel he was going to take these balls and clear up.
I don't think it will affect him, Tony, because Rob's been there before, and he's the sort of player that plays with a lot of confidence, and even if he misses a pot or snookers himself like he did there, he doesn't let it affect him. He comes back, and he's quite liable to just come back and clear up the next frame from nowhere.
Well, that tale is going to unfold in the next few minutes. 2 reds left for Lee Kendall. Now you can make that 2 balls left for Lee Kendall to pull back to 10-8.
There's Louise. She can't bear to look at this.
He's not going down without a fight, and Louise knows it. Kendall trying to get the crowd behind him. He trails by 2 frames with 3 to play. It's 10-8 to Rob McKenna. Well, he's got a chance here. Again, it's in his hands. He needs a ball off the break. And how things can turn around. Greg, I didn't want to say then, but I feel that that is going to bother Rob McKenna. I don't think there's any player in the game that can walk away from a circumstance like that and not have it affect the way they feel.
Key shot this one, Jim. Taking a long yellow.
He stroked that in, didn't he, Tony? He absolutely, cue action was as straight as an arrow. And that is a good sign that Lee Kendall is still in there battling. 2 frames behind, can't afford one mistake. But the great thing about this game of pool of ours, you can make a mistake and think it's all over, as Lee Kendall didn't put anything off the break in the last frame. But Rob McKenna, you've still got to pot him. Nobody's going to give it you, as you've said before, Jim.
I've got a feeling there's going to be another twist in the tail yet.
You two provided us with a historic final last year, and now Lee Kendall and Rob McKenna are writing the second chapter.
Yes, Jim, could we see it go all the way again for the second year running? Lee Kendall looking good on the yellow balls, in good position. And has he overrun that? He's just had a flick off the red ball, and has the luck started to change? If he hadn't have hit that red ball, I feel that the cue ball, Jim, was coming right down the table and going to leave Lee in no man's land. And as luck would have it, he glanced off the red, took all the pace out of the cue ball, and now he's perfectly on the last 3 yellows.
And once more, Greg, look at those 2 reds just on the bottom of our screen. They offer Lee somewhat of an insurance policy. It would be a very difficult clearance, even if a miss were to creep into Lee's game.
Tough positional shot here for Lee. He'd like to come a little bit further with the cue ball for this one.
That's right, Tony. But he's just glanced off it thinly and played it superbly.
There's Lee's sister there. She'll be feeling all the nerves now as well. There's Louise.
Well, I felt he should have played position on the centre pocket with the black there, Tony, don't you?
Welcome to sweaty palm time, guys. Lee Kendall takes another frame. It's 10-9. Rob McKenna, still possibly 2 to play. He's got to win this event now.
Lee Kendall right.
But Lee Kendall is the biggest hurdle in his path. He breaks off now in the 20th frame.
Well, just look at the reds.
Open table.
He's got to take the reds because at the bottom right-hand pocket, that's where the security ball is.
And I think Rob's only chance at a red is the long red down the left-hand side of the table into the left corner pocket.
This could be the deciding factor in this frame, this shot. I think whoever gets reds here is going to win this frame. Reds are in such a strong position now, don't you think, Greg?
Yeah, but he's been a little bit unfortunate with the cue ball there. Landed tight underneath the side cushion. And now...
Taking no chances, Rob McKenna.
That's clever thinking there. Looks like Rob's got his head back together, because he could have been tempted to go for game there and then messed up, and all of a sudden it's 10-all.
Well, I think he felt that if he could command the 2 bottom corner pockets, and Lee's got a couple of yellows down there, if he could command them pockets, then he knows he's a big certainty really now to win this frame. I feel, in my mind anyway. He's got a little smirk there now. You can see that he's erased that nightmare of a shot he played a couple of frames ago.
I think he's a long way from erasing that, Tony.
So do I, Jim.
Win or lose.
And I can't believe that shot there that Lee has played. I was about to say, Jim, that Lee is very good at the tactical side of the game.
Well, he just developed the most awkward red on the table for McKenna. And if he were to knock this in...
I think it was desperate times call for desperate measures there, Jim. That was surely a desperate shot from Lee Kendall. This is another great chance now for Rob McKenna. I think you'll see him compose himself a little bit more this time. He'll take the extra amount of time over each shot.
And I just saw Lee Kendall finishing off the last drop of beer in his glass, and could that be an omen that we're going to see Lee's hopes of winning this world title vanish just in the same way as his last drop of beer did. Looking very ominous, Jim. Don't think we're going to see any mistakes from here.
We said that last time.
It's 10-9 in this, the Embassy World Title Final. The biggest event on the pool calendar. Look at Rob McKenna. He knows it now. He knows it. It's history. Rob McKenna has done it. He is the first two-time winner of the Embassy World Title. This is your time, Rob McKenna. Your time. Enjoy it. You are the 1997 Embassy World Champion. Rob McKenna of Wales has reached the pinnacle of his pool life.
Well, gentlemen, everybody here in Manchester was praying for a great final, and that's exactly what you gave us. And I think, Lee, first of all, I know you're going to be very disappointed, but really you fought all the way and you never let him go.
Well, I tried my hardest. I lost the match in the first session. My brakes didn't come out and I didn't settle early doors. If I settled early doors, and it may have been different, but not this time.
But you played some great shots. The black on the 11th frame, that must have given you the confidence to carry on, and sure enough, you started playing some fantastic pool.
On the second session, I was confident I could come back. I just needed balls off the break, and they didn't go. And when you don't make balls off the break, then something like Rob's can clear up.
Well done, a fantastic final. But Rob, the man of the moment yet again. And there were a lot of nerves out there, but you did keep control, and the thing was, you never let him get ahead, which was the important thing.
It's always, in any big final, especially the World Championship, if you can keep in front of, obviously, a player of Lee's class and calibre, because I know I was 7-3 up at the interval, but, I mean, I, for one, never thought the match was over by any stretch of the imagination. I knew Lee could come back. He proved that, and, as you say, it was a great match, and I'm just sorry for Lee that he lost.
And the first man to ever win the title twice.
Yeah, sure. I don't really know what to say at the moment, how it feels. It feels brilliant. I'd love to come back next year and defend it and be the first man to win 3 and successfully defend it, but we'll have to wait until next year to see about that. But I expect there's going to be a few who want to stop me along the way. I need to say millions of thanks to all the Irish lads. They kept me going in the middle of the week when I was virtually here on my own with my cousin Jimmy supporting me all week. They kept me going, and I'd like to say big thanks to them.
A valiant champion, I think you'll all agree. The new world champion, Rob McKenna. Let's go now for the presentations with Alan Hughes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it comes to wages time, and first to the runner-up, a cheque for £3,500, and our congratulations for a wonderful tournament goes to Lee Kendall. Ladies and gentlemen, now to the winner, a cheque for £7,000, the great trophy here, and the title of the 1997 Embassy World 8-Ball Pool Champion goes to the pride of Wales, Rob McKenna. Rob McKenna, ladies and gentlemen, great champion.
Well, that concludes our coverage here on Sky Sports. From all of us here in Manchester, until next time, goodbye.